Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 17th, and try as I might, I did not get back into the swing of things to get these videos up. So we're already, over halfway through December, and I just started looking at goals. And New Year's is my absolute favorite holiday. I love the freshness it brings. I love the motivation it brings. I just love the overall, clean slate, go after your goals feeling. I cannot miss the opportunity to do a goals check-in for 2026. So I got out my notebook, my writing notebook, where I take all of my notes, such as CC Lyra's Hacking on the Line Level, which is going on right now. I have lots of notes on that, but on the back side, I did do my 2026 goals. So I just want to go over those today. I basically have 3 categories: writing, reading, and personal. I don't want to get too just in the weeds about this because I typically reassess either every month, every other month, at least once a quarter. So it's likely that you will see updates to this, kind of similar to the way I've done the Bitter End Challenge. Before I get into my goals, I want to talk a little bit about 2025. 2025 was a year of finding out who I wanted to be as an author. And at the start of 2025, I was querying a YA dystopian. It was doing very, very well. I'm really proud of that project. I still am. Could it be differentiated a little bit more? Of course. Could it be deepened and fleshed out? Of course. But it is a true YA, which didn't fit the market. It didn't have romance. And it really gave me confidence to follow my non-romantic path because I am ace and I do want to see more books celebrating that. So that's how I wrote my character. She engages in flirtation and proximity tension, but at the end of the day, she's just not straight up interested. And I love that for her. I love that for me. And it was so much fun to write her as much as it was to write my antagonist, because my antagonist does try to use that as a manipulation technique, which is something I have a lot of thoughts on. But it's a book that was a love story, not just to The Hunger Games, but to The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I think is Suzanne Collins' best book. And it really, to me, said something in a way that her other books did, but it just didn't resonate as much for me. Snow's story really did. So I'm really proud of my growth, and I'm really proud that I was able to indulge in that book a little bit. And I had already started Murder Night in 2024, but 2025 is when I finished the first draft and got it ready for querying. This was another book that I really wanted to have all of the things I loved. I love the proximity tension between different characters, but I don't, there's no romance involved. It really is just tension and closeness. And what does intimacy mean outside of the romance sphere? And I was able to kind of play around with that in Murder Night because my main character is a girl who was in a relationship and did learn that she's more on the asexual spectrum and did bring this up to her former partner. And she does deal with ramifications of that in the hotel. I was able to play with a voice that I was not very confident in. It wasn't a voice where I knew I would make similar decisions. I had to actually go out of my way to be okay, what decision would she make based on her motivations? Instead of just having someone who is so goal-oriented or task-oriented, which is how I am. And Cody's just not like that. She has she does have a one-track mind. She does have OCD spirals. I do make sure to put that rep in there because I want this pure OCD to have as much rep as what we are currently seeing as that more tangible OCD, that the repetition, the ritualistic OCD. I want there to be both. And I think OCD is very misunderstood and miscategorized a lot by society and even by doctors and therapists, which is something that I have struggled with personally. But I wanted my main character to have these things impact what she's going through. It's not the main story. It's not even like what I would call a subplot. It's really just what I like to write, which is humans doing their best, like very flawed people just trying. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I love that about horror specifically. And I really want to focus on that in my upcoming novels. I learned a lot with these 2 books, but I ended querying Pull the Thread, which is my YA dystopian, in July, June, somewhere around there. And what matters is I finished querying Pull the Thread and I moved on to query Murder Night at Hotel Adair. I will say that there are still fulls out for both books, which I'm not surprised about. But this year taught me a lot about how to embrace the niche that you want to be in instead of trying to make your work more mainstream. And I don't think that I'm super niche, but there is a slasher aspect. There is a meta awareness of my book that I have seen done recently with debuts, but it's not super mainstream. You don't see people talking about them. You see a lot of people talking about like folk horror right now, and that's just not what I wrote. It's not, I think, what I do write. Like, that's a very serious horror where I feel like mine is very like for the like people who love B horrors, like the people who love slashers from the 80s and people who like love the reboots, even if they're bad, you know, that those are my readers. And I think that going and knowing what kind of reader I was after, I was able to stay true to that voice. And then with the resurgence of A24, I was able to kind of take that goal and elevate it into like more of a immersive experience instead of just like, ooh, fun, spoof, laugh, gore. And there's really not even that much gore. It's very, very tame, which I will be pushing in my next novel, which I'm excited about. But it was my first jump into horror, and I have never felt so in love with a genre before. There's just, I feel like so many options for me, and I'm excited to stick with that going into 2026. Reading wise, I didn't read a lot. I think I read like 23 books and my goal was 24. And hey, I've still got like 2 weeks. So maybe I'll read that last book, and I probably will if I'm being honest. I don't push myself when it comes to reading. I know that I read outside of what I could log on Goodreads, even though I'm not on Goodreads. I do log more than Storygraph, which I do prefer. I have made an effort to read more debuts because I feel like those are going to teach me a whole lot. And of course I have other things like, Rachel Harrison, for example, who's not a debut at all, but she did, she's a name in this genre that you need to know if you're going to be writing in it. And so, I'm trying to keep up with both who my peers would be in terms of like a debut and like what I'm quote unquote competing against. And then also like what the quality needs to be in terms of like, it's Rachel Harrison. Like, I think that any horror writer would love to have her career. Obviously I've read her. I've read, Nat Cassidy. I've read Nick Cutter. Like those names in horror that you just know, like I've also read those. So I feel like you have to do a little bit of both if you want to succeed in your genre. And I'm not saying anything groundbreaking, of course, but just trying to go over my lessons learned in 2025. Okay, so what else have I done? Let's see. I want to celebrate a little bit because I was talking with my friend Chase, and we were talking about goalpost always moving, and he's so incredibly right. We don't take the time to celebrate our wins very often, and so I want to make sure that this video does that because I am so proud of myself and how far I've come, and I'm excited about like what 2026 brings for me. But to do that, like I want to say out loud the things that I'm proud of accomplishing. And I think honestly, like everyone needs to do this. I am so, so proud of all of the requests I've gotten for Murder Night. I am so proud of being able to pitch a horror book, which is not typically very popular in pitch events. Like, horror is just not like the most popular genre. Fantasy is always pretty much dominating. And I was able to get several very lucrative requests. I will say the other thing is that I took the time to invest in my chosen career, writing, and I did 2 consultations, as well as take classes and go on a writing retreat. So I've put money into this without actually making money from it. And first, this is a very, very privileged thing to be able to do, and I'm very proud of that decision, but I'm also proud of the sacrifices that I had to make for this decision to happen for me and my circumstances. I want to shout out a couple of things that I really think move the needle for me, in case you are looking for a holiday present for yourself or a birthday present or like something to invest to. And I will say that there are 3 basic things that I think move the needle. Number 1, I went into my summer consultations with agents not pitching them. It was through Story 360, and I will leave the links and stuff down below, but I went in and I said, I am not here to pitch my book. It's not ready yet, but I wanted to jump on this opportunity to pick your brain about the industry, about the horror market, about how to stand out and position myself like a professional in the slush pile instead of just a querier hoping for the best. Like, I went in wanting knowledge from these agents. And I think that actually helped me have conversations that brought me a better overview of what was going on in the industry and why things were doing the things that they were doing. Another thing is like timelines, and like everything is so freaking slow, slower than it's ever been. If you've been keeping up with Publishers Marketplace emails, like, you know, it's not a stable industry right now. Profits are up and down, and, you know, middle grade is hopefully coming back, and then like definitely dead, and like dead is the wrong word there, but like struggling. True YA, like, where is the space for that? And all of that to say, I'm really, really glad that I have leaned into what I want to write, because it's allowed me to hone the skills that I feel like I need to succeed. Getting back on topic, those consultations helped me have that market awareness that I felt like really did help me in the slush pile. So my second thing that I invested in that I thought was really great for me were classes through CC Lyra. And they are expensive. They, I think, start at $200, and I think that's their base. And I know that's a little bit like, it hurts your heart a little bit, but I have signed up for 3. I'm only in the second one right now. The third one starts, I think, in like January. I don't even remember when it starts. But her classes are about 3 to 4 hours long. There are 3 to 4 of them. I truly feel like, even though I don't feel like a newbie in the trenches, I don't feel like a newbie writing, at least like on this side of things, right? Obviously, when I'm agented, I'll be the newbie again, right? But for now, like, I do feel like I know the trenches pretty well. I feel like I have figured out what I need to do to get requests. I feel like I can write a good book. But when I go into CC's classes, I am learning new things every 5 minutes. Like, if I could just give a ratio, it literally is like every 5 minutes. I'm like notes. Like, this is from one class. Just like, look at all of this. Like, actual notes. And I think there are a lot of classes out there that don't offer that. And then the third thing is my writer retreat. Just getting away and writing and workshopping with my critique partners. You learn, and then you build those bonds, and then you realize what is important and what's not, and how much you want to push yourself, and what does success look like. And for me specifically, because I'm the last one to be agented, I'm able to see what it takes to not only be agented, but to go out on sub, to sell on sub, to do edits with an agent, with an editor, to prepare for your debut year. So quick shout out to Sierra, who is debuting in May. You guys are going to see all of the hype when she debuts, because, not going to lie to you, like, new favorite book incoming. Like, I cannot tell you how much you guys are going to love this book, this series. It is a trilogy. So anyway, those are the 3 things I'm really glad that I invested in and that I've really felt move the needle. Just to recap: consultations, classes, writer retreat, and awkward. Now, the writer retreat obviously is not direct, but I swear, like, it matters. It really, really matters. So find your people, build that community, but do it authentically. You're not going to want to read every book out there. You're just not, and you're not going to be able to help every book out there. And you shouldn't try to. So that's just my philosophy. Let's move into 2026 goals. First, let's do reading because I think it's the shortest and I think it's the easiest to explain. I want to read 3 nonfiction books. Now, that can be craft books, that can be nonfiction true crime books, that can be whatever, right? Like, I'm not going to pigeonhole myself into reading one kind of book. Now, if there is a craft book that comes out that I feel like I need, like, I'm all over it. But I really do want to do some actual, like, maybe not historical reading, but true crime. But I also want to do, like, research on cults, but like pop fiction cults, but like also more of a deep dive. I'm very interested in that. I would also love to, I don't know if I want to read a memoir, but like leaning that way. Again, I don't have to decide right now. I'm going to wait to see what captures my attention and just put it on my list. My second goal for reading is to read 6 backlist books that have been published 3+ years ago. These are not comp books. These are just me indulging in the genres that I love. I want to pick up some more thrillers this year. I love a thriller. A thriller for me is like the perfect palate cleanser book. But I also have so many friends debuting that I know that I'm going to have to make space for them too. And that leads me to my third goal, is to read 12 debuts this year. I think it's going to be really easy if I'm being honest. There are so many good books coming out next year, and I honestly can't wait. So I'm going to just, like, these are the ones I'm excited about, and just know that some of them are friends and some of them I've read like well before that they've been edited by an editor. I'm just really excited, you guys. I'm so thrilled to be able to support these writers. Now, the big one for me is my writing goals. So I have, I think, a bunch. First is I want to edit Murder Night at Hotel Adair, and I want to have these edits completed by the end of February. This is right before London Book Fair in March. I feel like this is prime for like submission season, and I just feel like that is kind of my best strategy moving forward. I love this book so much. I think it has so much potential. I can see editors who might want this. And so therefore, this book is not dead, you guys. Like, there's so much in store for this book, and I cannot wait to see where it lands. Next is I want to get my new project that I've been really enjoying, Sub Ready. I'm not quite ready to share more details yet. I would love to get further into my draft, but that's gonna be a later thing. That's gonna be like a summer thing. So yeah, I really hope to have that ready to go by September, October. That would be the goal, I think. I'm not going to push myself. I've been pushing myself since 2021. I haven't taken many breaks from this, and I think I owe it to myself to just slow down, because I think I found my voice. I think I found my style. I think I found what's working for me, and there's no need to go full speed ahead when I have so much potential right here in front of me. I don't need to rush it. So once that is ready, I want to identify my next project. I want to have a pitch. I want to preferably have the first 2 to 3 chapters like drafted. That would be ideal. But really the biggest thing is maybe to have some false starts and then really identify what's going to stick for me, because that's my process. I am hoping to bring the cult thing back. I know that I had a false start with a cult because I think it was just too serious. It was not genre aware in the way that I like to be. So I think I just need to like sit on it and let it revamp. I will eventually do a camp horror. Camp horror is like my bread and butter. If there's any book that comes out and it's like thriller or horror at a camp, like a kid's like sleepaway camp, it's all me. Send it my way. I love the counselors. Like, it's just like, I will eat it up every time. So eventually I want to write my own. I don't think that I'm quite ready to handle that yet. I think for me, I would love for it to be multi-POV, and I'm just not confident in that yet. And so therefore, like, I don't want to waste that book idea when I'm just not ready. I haven't leveled up enough. So it's going to be on the back burner. It will likely not be my next story idea unless I sell like an option or something. I don't even know. It'll be coming, just not anytime soon. I think something to do with cults is going to be next. And then we'll see if I'm ready after that. Another thing I want to do is I want to take 3 different classes in 2026. And I already have signed up for one. It's one of CC Lyra's classes. The class is called Writing Interiority and Psychological Acuity. While I do think my interiority is pretty decent, this class I think is really going to push me over the edge. And then I would love to do some more psychological writing and be a little bit more intentional about what I'm doing on the page and make sure that my economy with words is doing what I want. So I'm really, really thrilled for that. If you're also signed up, like, let me know below. I love to like get excited with each other. The other 2 classes I want to take, I hate to say they would be Cece's, but they might be Cece's other classes. I'm really hoping that she brings back the emotional writing, because I do feel like that's my weakness. I feel like I don't put a lot of emotion. I just don't think that that's a strength of mine, but we'll see what she offers, right? And I think I would love to take like a Donald Mass class. I would love to take, there's just so many options, and I want to really take my time and pick the one that's gonna be best for me. Finally, do a writing retreat. I want to make this a year, well, it has been a yearly thing for like the last several years. I think what we're going to be doing next year is going to the Outer Banks, and so I may be a little bit more involved in the planning of that one just because I'm the closest. So likely my CPs will fly in to me and I'll drive everybody down. How do I make these writing retreats super special? Finally, like my self-care, my personal goals for the year. I am really loving my tarot and my Lenormand decks. I do a daily spread every day. I'm not very good at like intuitively reading, so I want to keep getting better. It's just something silly and fun and like kind of a call out for me, because it's like, if this card is telling me to have patience or rest, it's like, am I doing that? Like, it's making me like turn in and like really self-reflect, and I think that's important for me to do from time to time, or daily. I want to continue to update my new house and my yard. I've got to get a fence in for my dogs so that they can go outside and play a little bit longer than what our walks would be. Lady is like such an outside dog, and I hate that she's inside all the time. Just because like I have to work, I have to be at my computer, I've got to do things. So that's something that I would really love to change for her. I also want to kind of clean up. There's like a lot of bushes, a lot of overgrowth, just because like my grandparents are older and they just can't keep up with it anymore. And so like with my husband, like I want to make sure that our yard, our acreage is maintainable. And then my last but like kind of most personal one is I want to become a sports mom. My kids right now are doing gymnastics, which I thought was really important for body control, for strength, neither of which we really have right now. But I would love to go through a couple of sessions of that and then like let them pick a sport that they want to do, because I loved sports growing up. I was just like a major jock. I was always doing something, whether it was horseback riding or softball or volleyball or gymnastics. Like I was always doing something, and I was always, not to toot my own horn, but I was good. I was state champion on the uneven bars, and like I went to states in softball, and like wasn't super great at volleyball, but like I was libero and like I wasn't afraid and it was like super fun. Horseback riding was kind of the love of my life, but I wanted to be like Hidalgo. Like I wanted to do like long distance races, like cross country stuff and barrels. And I learned organically because my mom was a horse trainer. And so I didn't really take lessons until I was older. And by that point, I'd already had so many bad habits. So when I started taking English instead of Western, like it was just like very big in form. And plus it's so expensive and I just can't do it right now. So because of my love for being active in sports and competition, like I want my boys to find something that they are also very passionate about. And I think at least one of them will find a sport that they love. I think my other one may want to do like art or music or something else, and that's fine too. I think as long as they find a hobby that they can learn discipline in and they kind of take ownership of, I think that's what I care about the most. But for this year, I really just want them to be active and learn their body and learn what it takes to be disciplined and strong and confident in themselves. So those are my 2026 goals. I am only planning 1 or 2 more videos for 2025. And so this is kind of it. Those other videos are currently being made. It's like a vlog, and then I'll sit down and kind of do a chatty video about the vlog. 2025 has been hard, but it's been like very worth it. So I'm really excited to see what 2026 has in store. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I hope that your goal making is going just as great as mine did, and I hope that you're looking forward to the new year too. See you next time. Bye.